Hello and welcome to Candidates on the Clock, hosted by the Newton Chamber of Commerce, sponsored by Dual Deco Search Engine Marketing and Onyx Media Services. I'm your host, Lanier Sims. Today we're joined by LeAnne Long, that's running for Commissioner, District 5. Could you please introduce yourself, outlining your background and experience? Additionally, could you share your platform for County Commissioner and explain why you're running for office?
Oh, sure. I'll be glad to. Thanks, Lanier. Thanks for the opportunity to come and do this today. I think it's real important for everybody to really have a connection with their candidate and make sure that that's the personality they're looking for them to represent them. I entered this campaign for District 5 because we're facing critical issues in District 5. We have lacked leadership for quite a few years. There's been not a lot of communication, not a lot of citizen input. They were frustrated because they couldn't get in touch with their commissioner. And so it brought me to the table and said, and I met with the current commissioner and said, we need a new voice. We need someone that will get out in the community, that can use social media, use email, everything to make sure that we're getting out there to our community and finding out what's good for the citizens in District 5. Also, my frustration came from, I've seen firsthand what happens when special interest gets into the county commission. And right now we have a current mess there, so I want to make sure that, my reason for getting in, I don't need this job, I want this job. And the reason why is because I feel like I can make a big difference, and I think the people that know me in this community, I've been around for about 37 years in this community, and they know that I'm a leader. I've been fighting zonings for almost 20 years. I was on the Board of Commissioners from 1998 to 2000, filled a seat for Esther Fleming, and I was defeated by special interest, and it was a builder-developer situation. I see us going back to that now. My opponent is a builder-developer, and we don't need that. We have to make sure that we maintain and have infrastructure and all the things that we need. And that's my platform, is I am for the people, and I'm going to continue to be for the people. I'm not bought and paid for by anybody. I'm my own person, and if you know my personality, you know I speak and I tell the truth, and you're not going to get anything wishy-washy from me. You're going to get the answer. You're going to be able to find me, communicate with me, come by my office. You can come by there now and ask me any question that you want. And I feel like that we have to have that transparency. And you're not going to get a canned campaign speech from me today, because that's not what I do. And I believe in being who you are and letting people see who you are, and then they understand.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to jump into a few questions. First question, what plans do you have for improving roads, bridges, and other infrastructure within Newton County?
Okay. One of the things about roads and infrastructure and all that is the chairman's job. That is the county. We have a situation where we have a chairman and we have a county manager, okay? We can bring the roads and improvements that we feel like we need. We bring those to the board and we say, hey, we need this. We are lacking in infrastructure big time. Because there was a period where we had a housing crisis, okay? And I'm in real estate, so I understand how real estate works, and I understand all the factors that go into it. I think that gives me an edge over some of the other commissioners on the board. But we are lacking in infrastructure. When we had a downtime of housing crisis, then there was a lack of funding because of that. So during the years of my opponent's time as a chairman, there was not a lot done. And there was not a plan going forward. So we are lacking again in infrastructure. We are building faster than we can keep up with the infrastructure. I think you get out to the community, you find out which roads need help. I'm amazed at how many dirt roads we still have in Newton County. Maybe people love them, maybe they don't, but maybe some people are begging for those to be paved. But we have to have the funds, and we have a pretty good SPLOSH program going. I've been on that for several years. Maybe we have to get our needs together before our wants. And I think a lot of that needs to go back to infrastructure. We're going to explode again with Rivian and a lot of corporations coming here to Newton County. We're going to have another explosion. And you need somebody on that board that can handle that explosion and make sure that the citizens are still represented that are here now, not the ones wanting to come here. And I realize we got to have a balance, because we will grow. There's going to be growth. And infrastructure is a big part of that. And if you don't have that in place and you try to do it after the fact, it doesn't work.
Thank you. Our next question, in light of the recent disagreements among commissioners and the necessity for a more unified approach, how do you intend to foster and build better relationships, find common ground, and promote unity to ensure a more effective governing body?
Yeah, that's a big issue. I touched on that a minute ago. Our current Board of Commissioners has lost the community's respect. That's a problem, okay? There has to be a change in that. It's sad, as I go around campaigning, so many people are coming up to me and saying, oh, everybody's crooked, everybody's this. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I know a lot of these people that are on the board. I feel like sometimes people think special interest comes in, and it does. I mean, let's be real, So I feel like that we have to elect candidates and people that are leaders. I've been a leader since I was 16. I'll tell you, I was a drive-through captain at Burger King right after I got the job at 15. So I've been leading all the way. I've been in corporate America leading, and I own my own business, and I lead agents and even agents that don't work for me all over this county. So I think that you got to hire people that have clean backgrounds. They're not connected to anyone. That way you can make clear decisions. And I feel like that, you can work together. I know a lot of the board members now. I've worked on several things with them not being in office. I intended it to stay that way, not be in office, but there's a calling that people have to get out and do something. And so many people don't want to do this job anymore because of all the things that come with it. I mean, it's $20,000 to run a campaign out of your own personal pocket. Mm-hmm. If you're running one district, I can only imagine what countywide would be. So I feel like that, getting people together, elected the right candidates. I've told everybody, Google all your candidates. You have Google now. Google everybody. Find out what they're really about. Don't listen to what you read on the paper or what you read in some mail out. Google them. Get your own information. And then you'll find a board that can get along and work together. We have disruptors on there now on the board. And they are making us not do the county's business. That is the worst thing that we can do for this county is we have wasted just about a year this year and last year over disruptions and people not getting along, and then people are making decisions based on they're mad. I will never make a decision. I could be mad at you, LeAnne. I'm not going to make a decision on that. We have to agree to disagree and do what's best for the county. You do what's best for the district, what the district commissioner thinks is best. If you disagree with him, then you have to have that conversation and get along with people. It's not really a business. It's trying to build your community where you want to stay. I don't want to move. That's why I'm in this too. My grandbabies live a mile down the street from me. So the thought of me having to move is crazy. We're seeing a mass exit from Newton County right now. I get calls all the time. I'm a resale person as far as an agent. And I get calls all the time. I want to get out of this county. I want to get out of this county. I'm like, why? Why? Get involved in your county. Don't just leave it. So there's things that we have to do, and we have to get along and work together and build relationships. And I feel like that I can do that with the members that are there and maybe a new member coming in. Okay. So I feel like that's very important. I'm one of the best negotiators around. That's my job, to negotiate. And I think you have to be that personality.
Okay, thank you. Our next question is, as new industries bring a demand for housing, what are your views on zoning regulations? How will you balance the need for housing with considerations such as density, location, building standards, aiming for sustainable growth while maintaining Newton County's character?
Okay. Well, that's my favorite question, if you want to know the truth. And this isn't a gimmick. I'm not running to try to make people think that I'm going to do something I'm not. Okay. I'm very passionate about this part. Forget the word affordable housing. There is no such thing as affordable housing anymore. Just forget that word. That does not exist. That's a national problem, though. That's not a Newton County problem. That is a national problem. So we have a huge number of rental homes that have come online, apartments, different things, about 4,500 in the last couple of years. And then we have a lot of investors in Newton County that have bought houses. There was a big push for investors to buy houses, too much if you ask me. But people have to have a place to live, and we understand that. And rents are coming down. So that's helping us. And prices are coming down a little bit. They're starting to balance out. So I think what you have to have here is you have to have a good balance. I don't believe in having all the rental housing in one high-density zoning. That to me has started a problem that is just now catching up with us. And what happens is, and I'm meeting with several homeowners groups, people are not vested in the community if they're renting in a neighborhood where you have renters and you have homeowners. And it always seems to be a problem with that situation about paying homeowners dues, keeping your property up. They're not vested in it because it's not theirs. So I do have a problem with that, and I would like to see some restrictions on that. I would like to see us change that. High density zoning, okay, we spent tons of money doing a new comprehensive land use map plan, okay? And it's 500 pages, and in that 500 pages, there are so many comments in there from the citizens that were involved. There was 30% of the citizens 30% people showed up out of the whole group from District 1. District 5 had 15. And then less than 10 in the other districts, okay? Created this book. If you read the back of the book, it says, we want a rural community. We want to worry about traffic and infrastructure. We do not want high density zoning. So then we come out with a land use plan that has all the things that not what the citizens want. That's a problem. That's a big problem. I feel like that the District 5 and District 3 were unrepresented in that process, or they didn't understand it, I'm not sure. Because you came out with high density zonings in both of those districts, and both of those districts are screaming no. People move to Newton County because they love that rural feel. Not once in my real estate career have I ever had somebody call me and ask me for a townhouse. Oh, I would like to live in the country in a townhouse. That's not what it is. Newton County is huge. It's like the 5th or 6th largest county in Georgia. We can have both. But don't take the ruralness that people move out to District 5 for and turn it into a high density zoning area. They don't want there are places for these little village communities, but they don't need to be stacked on top of each other. I saw one the other day and it said estate lots. Okay, the estate lot is a .25 lot. That's not an estate lot. So they're trying to use buzzwords, and that is a problem with that. We have to make sure that we balance, and we put all these in. We need to take some of them out, and that is going to be my plan.
Okay, thank you. Our next question, what steps will you take to ensure the county is prepared for emergencies and natural disasters?
Okay, so emergencies and natural disasters, you have to have a planning situation, and once again, a commissioner does have some responsibility on that, but most of that goes back to the commissioners are part-time, even though we're full-time, we're part-time. And you have to bring to the attention of the county chairman and the county manager any problems that you see, and the sheriff. I have a great relationship with the current sheriff. If we have a different sheriff, I make sure I have that. My name is on the outside of the building of the jail. So we built that back in my time as a commissioner. You've got to work together with state, local officials, other counties. I know when we had some problems up in Rockdale County a few months ago with a tornado that came through, the city of Covington assisted them because they have a plan that they go out and assist their neighbors. And I think being ready for that, you've got to identify critical areas that are not ready. You've got to make sure that we have all the things in place. We've got to make sure that we have funding, that we put funding in the right places. We can't put funding in things that are I'm very conservative on expenditures. So it's going to be making sure that the funding is going to all the things that the citizens need, not frivolous things. I hear about all these frivolous things that they want the taxpayer to pay for. We got to have, like I said, you got to have your needs in before your wants. And that comes with emergency planning too. We got to make sure our hospital, we don't have enough hospital attention. The new CEO of the hospital just moved into my neighborhood, so I have these conversations with her all the time. She's a great lady, and I think she's doing great things. But we have to have ambulances, we have to have hospital, we have to have doctor's offices, people that can take in new patients if we're going to have new people. So we got to have those people here in Newton County, and specialists. People don't want to drive to Atlanta for anything. So we've got to have that, and that's part of it, and making sure that we're ready for any kind of natural disaster that we may have. Nowadays, in this world that we're in, we have no idea what's coming to us anymore. So we have to be ready for all those things.
Okay, thank you. Our next question it's a two-part question, but you may sum it up in with your first answer. So, as new industries move into the area, creating job opportunities, what strategies will you employ to inform our local residents about these jobs? Additionally, how will you collaborate with educational institutions and training programs to ensure those citizens have access to the necessary skills and training to fill those positions?
That's a good question. We have a lot of good resources in Newton County, but I find that people don't go to those resources. They don't know how to get to those. So as a district commissioner, I will be on social media. I will have email access. I'll be doing videos just like this one to inform the community of what's out there for them. On my real estate website, we have connections to Newton County, to the chamber. We have it where people can connect. If they come to look for a property or a home or something, they can connect to the chamber. They can find out what's going on in Covington, why you want to live in Covington. We have that on there. I meet people all the time, and they're saying, I'm from Australia. I'm like, how did you get to Covington, Georgia? That's my favorite thing. How did you get to Covington, Georgia? But they love this community. They love the small town feel. That was another thing that was really brought out. And when they did the study for the land use map, is people love this small town feel. Let's don't lose that. Let's don't lose that. And then when we're moving new industries to the area, we've got to make sure that we have technical schools that people can go to. Now there's not this huge push to go to college now because it's so expensive. We have a technical school here. We need to make sure that people can go online, find those programs, or find out how to get more information on those programs. So, just communicating. I mean, we haven't had any communication in District 5. It's been very lacking. A lot of people are not, on the internet. They're not social savvy and all that. But I think you have to be nowadays, because people go right to the internet to find out information about what to do and what's going on. Be in the community. Be in the now. Meet with these industries. I can't tell you how many people have met with me over this campaign to find out what I'm about, but I'm also finding out what they're about. Most of them I know, and I know about the industries coming because I'm involved in the chamber and other things with my job. So I want to make sure that people know that, people don't know the opportunities out there for them. A lot of people didn't know that we had the senior tax exemptions coming on. So we need to make sure that we let people know about that.
Okay, thank you. Our next question, how will you ensure that residents are engaged in the decision-making process and having their voices heard?
That is important. That's one of my main points, is to make sure I'm the citizen. So I want to make sure that we're all heard. And I want to make sure that I'm representing what people. If we have a situation where the community thinks one way and I know different from another side, we're going to have to sit down. We're going to come to a community room like this, have meetings. I'm going to be out in the neighborhoods finding out what people want. You can't just come to a meeting and start screaming. You have access to your county commissioner every day whenever you want them. You can get them on social media. You can email them. You can get in touch with them. You can get in touch with me now, Long District 5, at Gmail. You can call them and find out anything that you want, but you have to stay engaged. And I think that's the problem we have, is people get into these commissioner jobs and they're not engaged with what's the most important to people. I'm a citizen. I'm a resident just in that District 5. I know what the needs are. I'm out and about, and I understand that. My county commissioner lives in my neighborhood, and I can't get him. Okay, that's a problem. People are going to be able to get me. Now, I can't return in 5 seconds, sometimes, because I have a job. But you're going to be able to get in touch with me. If there's a big zoning or a problem or something, I'm going to sit down with that developer, and I'm going to have a conversation with it. It's not going to be a shouting match or anything like that, because sometimes you can work on things and make things where everybody can live with it. Everybody's not going to be happy. Both sides are not going to be happy. But you have to have compromises. That's what government, and that's why we're here, is to negotiate and have compromises that work for the community. If I'm totally against it, I'm going to be totally against it. And if there's, most of the community, the loudest people come out when there's a problem. Stay involved all the time. Don't just wait until there's a zoning problem to come out. Get involved so you know what's going on around you. I want people to know there's a couple of zonings coming up now that are bad. And people need to know that there's already about 2,500 units already zoned to be high density that haven't come out of the ground yet. So we're just adding more on top of that. We can't do that. We're not ready for it. We're not ready for that. So we have to work on that. So I think that being active and being in that community and knowing what's going on and having meetings where they can come to you and express their concerns.
Okay.
It's going to be very important.
Okay. Thank you. And thank you for participating in Candidates on the Clock. At this time, can you close us out with any additional information about you, your campaign, and how the voters can get in touch with you?
Sure, absolutely. I'm LeAnne Long, and I'm running for District 5, and this is a contested race. It's very important. I'm the candidate that feels like that I am speaking for you. I'm speaking for me, and I'm speaking for you. And I want you to make sure that there's the special interest gets involved in politics, and we don't need that in politics. We need to make sure that we get somebody out there that's really thinking about what the citizens of Newton County need, what we all need. I mean, I always say citizens, but I'm one of those people too, and that's why I'm in this race. I mean, builders and developers don't need to be on the board. I mean, I'm just going to put it out there and say it. They don't need to be on there. Somebody said one time to me, well, you're a real estate agent. And in fact, I had a developer come in last week and said, well, you're a real estate agent. I thought you'd be for all this. I said, no, I'm not for all this. I'm for housing that makes sense in my community. I can't tell you how many people I've told endlessly, don't sell your house, don't move. Don't buy a house, okay? It's not about money, and I'm not trying to make money off of everybody's back or anything. It's about doing the right things. I love where I live. I live on 8 acres, and I have quietness around me, and it's beautiful. People in District 5 want that. We can have areas of growth, and we can make sure that we balance everything. There's certain areas that are already designed for that. They're already zoned. They've been zoned for years out there. So those are the areas that need to expand. And that's what I'm all about. And I want you to vote on May the 21st for me, for District 5 Commissioner. You can start voting early. I know you've probably heard this from everybody's video. Start voting early. I recommend that because the week of the election is going to be the week that school gets out and everybody's going to have a little programs to go to and all that. So get out there and vote early. And if you have any questions, you can get in touch with me easy at longdistrict5@gmail.com, or you can find out more about me at longdistrict5.com.
Okay.
Pretty easy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.